The quiet of the night in the eastern district of Sokoto State was shattered this past Monday by a calculated and aggressive campaign of violence that has left several communities in a state of deep distress and uncertainty. Information reaching us today, January 13, 2026, confirms that the notorious bandit kingpin Bello Toji has resurfaced with renewed hostility, launching a coordinated series of attacks aimed at seizing territorial control over the rural heartlands of the state. The primary target of this latest wave of aggression was Tidibale village, located within the Isa local government area. Under the shroud of darkness, Toji and his heavily armed fighters descended upon the settlement, transforming a peaceful evening into a scene of absolute chaos. Witnesses described the arrival of dozens of motorcycles carrying fighters who opened fire sporadically to intimidate the locals before moving to consolidate their presence within the village. The assault on Tidibale was not merely a raid for resources, but appeared to be a strategic move to displace the indigenous population and establish a permanent base of operations. Reports from the ground indicate that after the initial violence, the bandit group issued a harsh ultimatum to the villagers, demanding that they abandon their homes and farmlands immediately. This move has triggered a humanitarian crisis in the district, as hundreds of families, including the elderly and very young children, have been forced to trek long distances through difficult terrain to find safety. Many of these displaced persons are arriving in the larger town of Isa and across the border into Shinkafi, carrying only the clothes on their backs and a few essential belongings. The psychological toll on these communities is immense as they face the reality of losing their livelihoods and the security of their ancestral lands to a group that has long terrorized the northwest region. This sudden escalation in Sokoto State comes at a time when many believed the influence of such groups was finally beginning to wane. It is now understood that Bello Toji survived a massive military operation that took place during the Christmas period in late 2025. That operation, which involved significant international cooperation and high-precision airstrikes, was intended to dismantle the command structures of several terror groups operating in the region. While the strikes were successful in neutralizing a large number of fighters and destroying key hideouts, it is now confirmed that Toji escaped the main impact, suffering only minor injuries. Security analysts suggest that this latest violent push into Tidibale and the surrounding areas is a direct response to those military losses, a way for the kingpin to demonstrate that he still possesses the capability to strike and hold territory despite the increased pressure from security forces. As these events continue to develop and more information becomes available regarding the safety and relocation of those affected, staying informed is more important than ever. If you find this reporting helpful in understanding the complexities of the security situation in Nigeria, we invite you to like this video and share it with your network to ensure these stories reach a global audience. Please also subscribe to GlobalView and turn on notifications so you never miss our in-depth coverage of the most pressing news across the continent. Your engagement allows us to continue providing factual, high-quality storytelling that highlights the human impact of these global events. The situation in Isa local government area remains extremely volatile as of this Tuesday. Local leaders and community heads have expressed grave concerns about the lack of a permanent security presence in the more remote districts, which leaves them vulnerable to these hit-and-run tactics. While the Nigerian government has recently taken delivery of advanced military equipment and artillery intended to bolster the fight against such groups, the challenge remains in deploying these assets quickly enough to protect dispersed rural populations. In the nearby village of Bagaja, residents are also reportedly on high alert, fearing that they may be the next target in Toji's campaign to carve out a new zone of influence. The displacement of these agrarian communities also poses a significant threat to food security in the region, as many farmers are now unable to access their fields during a critical time for land preparation and harvesting. The international community has been watching these developments closely, especially following the recent reaffirmation of security partnerships aimed at stabilizing West Africa. The persistence of figures like Bello Toji highlights the difficulty of eradicating deep-seated insurgency through military might alone, as these groups often melt into the vast forests of the northwest only to reappear when they feel the pressure has lessened.
For the people of Tidibale, the immediate future is one of hardship. Those who have reached safety are calling for urgent intervention from both the state and federal governments to provide relief materials and, more importantly, to reclaim their village so they can return to their lives. For now, the Eastern District of Sokoto sits in a state of high tension, waiting to see if the military response will be swift enough to halt the kingpin's latest attempt at territorial expansion.